Hello, I'm Peter Loader, the owner of Dawlish and Arrow, a model railway encompassing Kingswear, Newton Abbot and Dawlish stations, and of course some of the iconic Dawlish seawall. Today we're going to take a look around the room that houses Dawlish and Arrow before watching some trains running along the seawall and through Dawlish station. Firstly though, welcome on board to new viewers of Dawlish and Arrow, and welcome back to existing viewers. I'd also like to thank all those who liked and commented on my driver's eye view tour of Dawlish and Arrow. According to YouTube, we've now got over 25,000 views. Not quite sure what I did to attract that sort of audience, but let's see what happens with this video. Within those commenters, special thanks to Christina, or it might be Christian, the Southwest Trains driver. When we get to the trains later, I'll run a Class 159 seen here leaving Newton Abbot just for you. Also to Andy, who apparently his grandfather collected parcels from Dawlish Goodshed in his lorry. If you're watching this, Andy, then you'll see later on I've added a signal box to the platform following a recent birthday present from my son. It's a ratio kit, for those of you who know what one of those is, suitably modified to create the overhang of the box over the platform. So, several of you commented on how lucky I was to have such a space for my model railway, and that's prompted me to do this tour of the railway room itself. So bear with me, I'm going to grab a coffee and then we'll head down through the garden and have a look around before running some trains. Keep watching. Dawlish Beach can mug, duly grabbed. Off we go. This is only going to have one take, so let's see how it works. Past the pond, down through the garden, under the tree, and you'll see past the trampoline, the railway room's coming into view. This is called a Green Retreat. That's the company that kindly made it for me and put it up on this site. I seem to remember giving them lots of mince pies while they were doing it. That's my wood cutting desk for when I need to cut some wood up and try to avoid creating too much in the way of dust and sawdust. And here we go, there's the railway through the door, and don't tell the fat controller, but the mug's going on the platform. At the moment it's a duck under, although there is a lifting section that I can use. You can just about see the join there, so I'm going to go under here and into the room. Well, now we're inside. Let's start by doing the high level view of the room. So looking that way, we're looking down towards Aller Junction from the Newton Abbot end of the line. You can see the main desk where allegedly I do some work from time to time. Computer screen, computer laptop on the table there, and a bigger screen up on the wall. That's currently got iTrain view of the railway displayed there. Don't know how well you can see that on this video, but that allows me to change every point on the railway through the laptop, and also to set a number of pre-programmed routes, so from any fiddle yard siding into and out of the main railway, and any of the points on the railway as well. You might notice there's a number of pictures on the wall, just in case my wife's watching. Obviously my favourite one is the wedding photo up there. That does also have a leaning out of a Rovers Rail steam engine cab. Thoroughly recommend that you Google Rovers Rail if you're not aware of where they run. They run a number of African railway journeys, very good value luxury train trips if you're into that sort of thing. So moving back out, down at the bottom there behind the chair there's a hi-fi cabinet that has in it the Z21 main control box and booster box. Quite small units really for controlling this layout, but they do the job. And we've got a streamer and a CD player down there should we wish to listen to anything, any music or sport while we're working on the railway. Panning round, this is where we came in through the doors. So this is now approaching Newton Abbot. We've got an overall view here of Newton Abbot station going into that corner, and here's a second desk which is useful for operating
Newton Abbot end of the line, and also the London and the north end of the main fiddle yard, along with the Tor Bay fiddle yard. Underneath the boards, get a lot of storage space in these rooms. That's homebrew corner. Probably the less said about that, the better. There's also a wine fridge there. Every model railway room should have one of those. And then as we pan round into the corner, we can see a number of storage boxes and cupboards under there. That's all full of model railway gear and kits and things that need to be built and what have you. We've got Dawlish up above it there, main fiddle yard, and a number of other pictures. One of my favourite pictures is the one in the corner. If we can zoom in on that, that's a station in Paris where a steam loco has just gone through the buffers and come out through the station building. It's a real picture. I'm sure you can find it if you Google it. Really amusing. So looking down from the far end now, got the main fiddle yard behind Dawlish. Underneath that is lots more storage boxes and what have you. Walking down towards the end, we get a number of other pictures on the wall, generally heading from west to east. Along here, one of my favourite ones is that one of Exeter St David's with the Cornish Riviera on the centre line. Another picture over there, another Cornish Riviera picture, but this time diesel hold. And there we go, and we've gone around and completed the high level view. Now zooming in, this is Aller Junction, so we'll start a more detailed look at the railway from that end. You can see I've put a bridge the other side of Aller Junction to segregate the Tor Bay and Penzance lines. In my railway design, the Penzance one goes off to the left, which is different to real life. That's because it made it easier for me to fit a gradient in, gave a bit more time for the Tor Bay line to climb so that I can include Kingswear, which is going to sit behind and on the higher level, so it'll sort of go into that corner. That's a project for the future. Coming up from Aller Junction, you can got the complex track work there. It's fairly similar to what they used to be in the 1930s when we had 4 separate tracks going down there. We've then got what I call the Cirrus Bridge. We could call it the Ronseal Bridge. It does exactly what they say on the tin. We've got a Ron tin on the left and a golden Cirrus one on the right supporting that. And you can see there's going to be an embankment there marked out by the polystyrene behind it. It's a bit of an alcohol theme here. This is Pete's Brewery. They must be brewing a lot of beer there because we've got 3 grain wagons. For my birthday I got one of the local Tucker ones, which is really good because that's from Newton Abbot and Ashburton. I guess those supplies have come from Ashburton, otherwise they wouldn't have needed to stick them in a wagon to get them to my brewery. Looking across this way, that's 2 Hornby boxes that will be glued together to represent the east box, and that's a view of Newton Abbot station. Again, not far off the it's a good representation, I think, of the 1930s layout in terms of the platforms that are there. Apart from the fact I've added an extra platform on the up line, so it's not just a through line now, and the station building looks remarkably like, well, hopefully anyway, Exeter St David's. A bit more canopy to do in the middle section there. Footbridge needs tidying up, and we need to extend the canopies both ways on that platform, so that the passengers from Walton Hampstead don't get wet while they're waiting for their train. As the coaling stage, looks like we've got a hole taking on there next to the carriage siding. It's got quite a bit of carriage siding space there. I forget how many, it's probably about 15 or so coaches, plenty for making up trains or empty carriage stock trains that can go down to Kingswear to form express trains coming back for London and the north. Clearly got a mixture of trains today. We've got a class 153 running the trains to Walton Hampstead today, so obviously a bit of modern stuff going on there. And here's the loco depot. That is another project for completion. I've just done the minimum amount to see how big the loco can be for the purposes of laying the track, but the scenery is reasonably well advanced over there. If you go onto my website, you'll see that my line also includes a line from Crediton into Newton Abbot, hence the Southern Railway loco waiting behind East Box, which is currently a prototype models kit that I have left over my exploits on model railwaying as a teenager. So that's what that signal box is. Behind there is the Tor Bay fiddle yard. So this is mainly for just holding trains that are between Kingswear and Newton Abbot. There's a couple of spare sidings for trains that may terminate at Paignton. Eventually that will become effectively the Paignton fiddle yard once Kingswear is built. And down here, this is the main fiddle yard. Going down there, as you can see, I've got some loco storage on top of there. Again, if you look on the main website, you can see the detail of the design. I forget how many sidings, I think there's 16 main sidings and 4 or 5 for holding local trains to Kingswear. They're right down at the far end there, and they can also hold trains that are going to be coming up for the Southern from Crediton and the Morton Hampstead line trains in those shorter sidings. To the right of that is the main Dawlish bit. So here's the first 2 tunnels out of Dawlish, which we see trains disappearing off into the background from. Then we can see the tunnel where we emerge onto Dawlish with a church in the background that's not really there, but I had a kit again that looks quite nice there, so let's go with that. Just done a paint refresh on the bridge because I was waiting for some other paint to dry and it had got a bit faded. There's the 2 of the trains we're going to see running in a while on this later in this presentation that I'm putting together, and there's the rest of the line down to Dawlish. If we come along to about here, this is where the San Remo camera is on the real Dawlish Beach Cam website. Mine's obviously an 00 gauge webcam. And down at the far end, which marks the end of this little tour, that's actually the bridge at Dawlish Warren, for those of you who know the area well. I couldn't resist having one on my railway, and it fulfills a good purpose there, representing one of the bridges further along the seawall. That's it. Let's hit the save button on this, and we'll next move on.
So hopefully that gives you a good insight into the railway room in which Dawlish in 00 resides. Now for some trains. Hurrah, I hear you say. We're going to start with a couple of trains taken from the timetable that is currently under development. It's based on the May to December 2023 published timetable, using mainly my son's rolling stock, as you can see from the extract on the left. Clearly we don't have enough space to store all the trains required to run the whole timetable, but there should be sufficient on there to give you a good flavour. I'm going to do a separate article on making a timetable and aligning that with your model railway design, but for today we're going to see the Penzance Paddington Class 800 IET passing a cross-country HST, the latter on a Leeds Plymouth train, the former on the Penzance Paddington train. You can see the times there in the timetable extract on the left, and that's the only 2 we're going to take from the timetable. After that, we're going to have a few assorted trains, including the Class 159 that I promised at the start, and then I'll just wrap up with a closing slide after the video. Enjoy! Thanks very much for watching. If you've liked the video, and I hope you have, please click the like button in YouTube. If you'd like to leave some feedback, then comments will be gratefully received. You never know, you might even get to feature in the next video. And of course, if you'd like to get notifications of further publications to YouTube that I'm planning, then if you click the subscribe button, you'll obviously get those. Links to my website if you're interested in finding out more about Dawlish in OO, then please see the link to on this slide, or alternatively the links that are available in the description to this video on YouTube. Thanks again for watching and have a good week. Bye for now.